We are back. So, second night in the new place. Still battling jet lag. Yesterday, I got in a solid nap. For the people that don't know, I'm quite tall. Travel is almost miserable. Sitting in a seat, and they are doing their best to push the limits of, comfortability to the point where airplanes now won't even lean back. And they try to pass it off as it's in the optimal position. And makes for an uncomfortable ride. Especially when you have to sit the long stretch, 12, 15 hours. Obviously, most flights are only a couple hours. Everything's been mostly okay. Little bit of a curveball with having to kind of hang out here in Vegas. I certainly wanted to look at some vehicles. I was on the layovers, kind of bookmarking some things I wanted to look at. I wasn't sure if how it was gonna play out, because I didn't really book much past LAX. So I'd made some phone calls, lined up some vehicles. It seemed like a good idea to buy a vehicle in LA and drive it westbound, because California's DMV system is pretty good that when you buy a car, it's registered right there, bang. The other thing that's, again, notable is re-entry here to the to the much drier climate. So it looks like, of course, this is going to go on for a few more days. The other thing at play here is, of course, the March Madness, and today being Saturday, the second round of March Madness. Costs to get a room are almost crazy. I did get a shower yesterday for $17. For $17 in Thailand, I could have been showered. Yeah, I left all of that for this. I pretty much felt like, I'm going to have to do something, with a little more predictable income. Because, sorry. Because frankly, things are changing a lot. That's happened, a couple times, not necessarily in work, but being 50 years old, end up with many breaks where things change. It's kind of where this is. It was very 50-50 whether to come back or stay. It's interesting because it gets to be nighttime here, and I start to feel like, oh, I gotta work, because about 9 at night, which is about 6 a.m. here, is when I would start to work, and then would I battle nap time. I would love to sleep a full night, which I don't know how many of those I got. For 2 years. For 2 years, it was a series of naps. Some longer naps, some shorter naps. And always trying to make sure to check contacts and so on. So I have been working on plans. Again, it's hard to go on video and say one thing and then the other thing happens. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to get the car, frankly, because why? I gave everything away. Actually, to be completely transparent, I had, because many of the places that I deal with, I want to tell you about the personal details, but I got to be careful, right? So, my address, physical address, was forwarded to High Stakes Danny's house. So I'm just, adrift. I didn't have, a feeling that, I was never coming back, as much as I felt like probably wasn't coming back soon, but I wasn't sure what would happen. But from my experience with living out of the country, just outside the country in Tijuana and Asia, the whole night and day thing really is something else. You got to be committed to that. If you're into all-nighter stuff, that's your gig, then it probably would, work out better for you. I'm certainly, I had to make much, big changes, and then I was talking to my buddy Jeff, and I was like, this night and day thing is killing you. Why is it kill you? Is because the people that you hang out with there are like, oh, it's their daytime, they're not staying up all night, too, so they want to see you at bang noon, right? But here I am. The weather's been nice. I've been lucky in that regard. That's another thing, if hot and humid is your thing, you're likely gonna do well. I will say that humid is not my thing. However, I kind of learned to just deal with it. But the weather in Chiang Mai was, really nice. That's why everybody makes videos about it. They found the spot. The next week, I could have stayed. The next week there would be $100. If I would have continued to stay in Chiang Mai the next week, bang, here's my credit card for my $100. Thank you. Clean the room every night or day, whatever. It was night because I was normally sleeping when they knock on the door. You don't you don't really think that you're going to end up in the situation. You get much older, things really kind of change. I mean, stakes become much higher. That's the best way to put it. I mean, if nothing else, I got no health insurance. None. Even going overseas, actually, the whole you need health insurance, before you leave or whatever, that's a crock of shit. You need nothing. And as a matter of fact, need nothing. They will never be any help. Well, I am making a lot of plans in the background, working very hard at it. I do have things in mind, of course. Like I said, you say one thing, do another, That's why I try to be a little question and comment below. I'll catch you on the next video.